Welcome to ETH, News and Headlines from a Prophetic Perspective. Here at End Time Headlines, our mission is to inform our listeners of the times and seasons in which we are in. In Luke 21:28, we are told, when you begin to see all these things come to pass, lift up your heads. Your redemption is drawing near. And now, founder and pastor of End Time Headlines.
What we're going to be talking about today is the latest developments regarding the Mideast turmoil. And the reason why I say Mideast turmoil is because we're not just going to talk about Russia today. We're not going to just talk about the strikes in Syria, but there's some other news that I thought was interesting. That's breaking news coming out of from the Jerusalem Post I want to share with you guys. In fact, we don't even have this on our main website yet, and we're going to put that on there after we get off here. So, all right, I want to welcome everybody to the broadcast, either by Facebook Live or by YouTube, however you may be joining us or watching this. I'm Ricky Scaparo, the founder and the voice of End Time Headlines. And today we're going to be, we've entitled this CheckMate, the latest developments regarding the Mideast turmoil. So I want to give you some updates here. Now, this first update, if you'd like to share this, by the way, please do that. Invite whoever you would or whoever you like to the broadcast. If you know people that like to keep up with these kind of things and these updates, then please invite them to join us on this broadcast. And I just want to give you a heads up, unless there's some major developments this week, this will probably be our last update regarding this this situation, because we've done about 4 of these over the last week, because it's been a very busy last 2 weeks, as you guys know. And so after today, after we do this, unless there's some major developments, we're going to kind of take a break, and then the rest of this week we're going to focus on I got some messages I want to preach, want to teach, want to get these subjects out that we've been talking about. We're going to be talking about, for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about the subject of hell. We're going to talk about Mystery Babylon. We're going to be talking about several topics, so I hope you guys will be able to join the broadcast. So this is from the Jerusalem Post, and this comes today. This just came over the wire. The senior Iranian commander just came out and said that, quote, Israel can no longer threaten Iran. Again, as tensions continue to rise along Israel's northern border, the commander of Iran's ground forces has warned that Israel can no longer threaten the Islamic Republic. Speaking in Tehran ahead of Iran's Army Day, this general was quoted by official news agency out of the Middle East saying that Iran's armed forces, quote, are much more powerful than before. And, quote, now listen to this, the date has been set. Let me say that again. This general, this leading senior Iranian commander, boasted of how Iran is much more powerful than they've been. And keep in mind, this is Persia mentioned in the Bible. Iran is Persia, Persia is Iran. Again, we're much more powerful than we were before, and the date has been set for Israel's destruction. Again, these are prophetic overtones found especially in Psalms chapter 83. We can find this in the war of Ezekiel 38-39, Gog and Magog. It talks about this distinctly, how Israel will be the main focal point. They will be the target of aggression, and the main agenda of Israel's enemies will be to wipe them off the face of the earth, to drive them into the sea, to annihilate them. But now we have the senior Iranian commander coming out and saying the date has been set. Now, let's talk about the date that he set. This is interesting. Quote, this is from the Jerusalem Post. Israeli officials have repeatedly voiced concern over the growing Iranian entrenchment on its borders and the smuggling of sophisticated weaponry to Hezbollah from Tehran to Lebanon via Syria. Here we go with the Syria thing, stressing that both are red lines for the Jewish state. And by the way, if you want to know why Israel keeps striking Syria and Damascus, this is why. They have intelligence, they have satellites, they have radar, and if they see any kind of a threat coming against them over the borders, coming against them in any way, form, or fashion, they are not going to hesitate to defend their sovereignty. Iran's Army Day is marked on the 18th of April. Now, consequently, go ahead and mark that day on your calendar, because that is the day, the same day that Israel will commemorate or celebrate the 70th Independence Day. It's the 70th year of independence. April 18th, 70th Independence Day. And this is the day, a slap in God's face, because if you, listen, who was it that enabled Israel to become reborn as a nation in a day in 1948, May 14th, 1948? You have to admit that it was God. It's impossible. How did they win a 6-day war against all odds in 1967? It was God. So if you mark the calendar of April 18th on the 70th year of their independence as a day that you're going to, quote, destroy them or mark them for destruction, you are playing with fire, friend. So this is very interesting to me to see what happens. So again, mark that day, April 18th, and let's see what goes on. We're going to have to pray about this. Now let's shift gears, because this is the question everybody's been asking. What is Russia going to do? What's their next move? How are they going to respond? Because remember, they came out and threatened the United States. They came out and threatened Britain. They came out and threatened all those who were involved in the bombings of Syria, and they said that there will be consequences. Now, speculation is rampant right now of what those consequences will be. In fact, one news agency came out and quoted that Putin warned that, quote, global chaos will happen if the United States or if the West strikes Syria again. Again, global chaos. We call that World War III, a global war. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned on Sunday that further Western attacks on Syria would bring, quote, chaos to world affairs as Washington prepared to increase pressure on Russia with new economic sanctions. Okay? This is very interesting. Then, this was from Depka Files. They reported that, quote, Russia and Iran prepare multi-level response for U.S.-led precision strike on Syria. Okay, according to the reports, Moscow acted swiftly to boost its ties with Tehran and beef up the Syrian military in reaction to the U.S.-Britain-French surgical missile strike on Syria's chemical sites on the Saturday, April the 12th. Again, Persia and Iran, or Persia and Russia, you've got these players are mentioned in Gog and Magog, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. And then we had reports that 4,000 U.S. troops have launched a massive military drill right there in the same region on the edge of Syria. And we had, I had one individual yesterday, let me see if I can pull this up. He even stated that number wasn't correct, and he had sources from, I guess we could say, military sources. And I'm going to read this. I'm not going to give his name, obviously, and where this was. But he said that, quote, I'm getting reports that there's around 12,000 troops in that region that has been deployed there, and they're carrying out these massive military drills. Now, this was from Zero Hedge reported this, and it was also confirmed by other sources as well. British tourists are put on red alert to flee Cyprus in the event of amid an escalating war that may take place. So what am I talking about today? I'm talking about all these tensions that are rising. What's going to happen? How's Russia going to respond? Are they going to join forces with Persia or Iran? That we call it Iran. Are they going to join forces with them? Are they going to join forces with China, who says that they've got their back? Is North Korea going to get involved in this? Are we, we talked about this. Are we going to see a real life Red Dawn scenario? Now, somebody has asked me what I thought could be a real scenario here. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't fear a nuclear strike so much as I do a real cyber attack from Russia. Now, we're talking about knocking out U.S. power grids, communications, all these the entire infrastructure could be brought down by a massive cyber attack. And this, friends, could be real potential threat. Again, not so much a nuclear attack, not saying that we're not marking it off, not saying it couldn't be possible, but we're talking about a real threat. In fact, experts warn that Russian cyber attack could be, quote, imminent. The attack on Syria by Western powers has fueled fears that Russia will retaliate with a cyber attack against UK hospitals and other services, including air traffic control. But will Russia launch cyber warfare not only against America, but Britain? So Britain is in the crosshairs as well. So, and one counterterrorism expert, Michael Clark, went on to say that, quote, I suspect that Russia will choose not to respond in military terms, but in cyber warfare instead. So, again, we've been on here for about almost 12 to 15 minutes, guys. I'm not going to spend a lot of time today on this. And another report came out and said that, quote, Russian warships laden with tanks, military trucks, and other equipment are sailing towards the Middle East. Again, this is all developing. So, again, we've said this, one wrong push of the button, one wrong action, one bullet fired, one missile fired, something. All it takes is one slip, guys, and we could be headlong into some real messy, ugly, nasty stuff in the Mideast. This is why, again, we emphasize we got to keep in prayer, we got to keep focused, and we got to remain diligent to stay in the Word, stay in His presence, be prayed up, and know that we are seeing biblical things taking place here. Now, will this spell the destruction or the ruinous heap of Damascus? I don't know, guys. Right now, some people are saying this has already been fulfilled. No, it hasn't. Damascus is still standing. They're still in operation. They're one of the most ancient capitals or cities in the world, and they're still standing. So no, Isaiah 17 has not been fulfilled. But we could very well see the footsteps or the stages leading up to the fulfillment of this, as well, of course, Ezekiel 38:39. So again, as always, guys, thank you for taking the time out today to jump on here. Again, we're going to be back on here either tomorrow or Wednesday, where I'm going to bring a word of encouragement and exhortation. Again, if anything happens, we'll bring you that update as well. EndTimeHeadlines.org, EndTimeHeadlines.com. Please subscribe to our main website, if you would, to keep up to date with what we're doing. If you'd like to support this ministry with a gift of any amount, please look for you're going to see that right there on YouTube. Also in the Facebook description, you'll see that underneath there as well, how you can be a blessing to this ministry, how you can help us remain strong and do what we do. So as always, guys, we leave you with Luke 21:28. When you begin to see these things coming to pass, look up, lift up your heads, for your redemption is drawing near. God bless you guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.